Well, I think the 8th of March for us, all of us, it's a moment to celebrate achievements for women's rights, feminist struggles and all the women that fought before us, but also to look forward at all the struggles that we have to still address when it comes to women's rights, to have equal access to power, equal access to in the economy, to have a life free from violence. And I think that the 8th of March is a moment for celebration and visibility for the feminist struggle. And in that sense, I think the Kurdish women's struggle is an inspiration in many ways for many of us, well beyond your region. Well, I think the 8th of March is one day of the year, but we know that the feminist struggle goes on every day of the year. All us women and feminists know that, and in that sense, many of us have been able to follow and get information on what's happening in Rojava and the way power structures, patriarchal power structures have been dismantled, how local democracy has been installed with co-chairs, with self-defense in a feminist way, and also decision to have self-governance. All these things that are, I think, extremely important visions for women's struggle, but also for the whole of society. And I think that's something that Rojava have given to us, that a feminist vision can inspire all of society. To lay the foundations for a more democratic and a more equal and a more just society, and that the feminist struggle is at the heart of all that. I think that, as I said before, I think the way the feminist vision have been able to shape the local self-governance, the issue of deciding for oneself, self-defense issues. Those things are core that can inspire feminist struggles around the world, especially at a time when we are facing very authoritarian regimes in parts of the world. Now we got rid of Trump, but we still have Bolsonaro, we have Orban in Hungary, we have authoritarian leaders. And then as feminists, we know that we have some of the answers. And in Rojava, they have been put in place local democratic assemblies, co-chairing women and men. And as I said, that in itself, that ideas have been put into practice is something that can inspire many of the feminist struggles around the world. I think that we are very concerned that the peace process has been completely undermined by Turkey, by the Turkish regime. They have been attacking not only Rojava, they've been attacking HDP in Turkey. It is, and that is part of a bigger problem of oppressing Kurdish people, but also every political opponent. And the issue of Öcalan not being able to take part of the peace process and peace talks is very unfortunate, because that was what was needed to be able to move forward. And instead, the Turkish regime has chosen a totally different path with increased oppression of every political opponent. And that is something that we at EU level are denouncing, and we are also denouncing EU support to Erdogan's regime, and also making being extremely critical and criticizing the persecution of HDP and of Kurdish activists and of any political opponent, but also civil society, also journalists. It is a very authoritarian regime that we see in Turkey today. Well, I think Europe has a big responsibility because Europe has chosen to collaborate and even to pay Turkey to stop migrants from fleeing, moving on from Turkey and refugees to moving on from Turkey into the EU. And that has been more important than actually standing up for democracy, human rights in Turkey, and to give justice and equality for all people in the region. And also the silence from the EU and the countries in Europe when Erdogan attacked northern Syria and Rojava. I think it's unforgivable, and there's a big responsibility from the left. We would like to see that money is stopped. Transfers of money to the Turkish regime is stopped, and that we put this as a high political level in terms of the dialogue that we're having with Turkey. It's a problem also that Turkey is a member of the NATO. So the NATO countries, my country Sweden is not a member of the NATO, but it is a problem that the NATO countries seem to turn their eyes away when even though Turkey is attacking the Kurdish communities in northern Syria, and although Turkey is using its military to wage war. I think there is very little reports coming out on what is actually happening, and I think a fact-finding mission could be very useful, even one that includes many different countries. And I think the fact that authoritarian and what you call occupation armies and armed forces attack women and women's rights and women's bodies is an element in every armed conflict and war situation, and that just has to be, that we have to fight against that, and we have to make that stop. Well, I think that all and everyone, feminists definitely, but also people beyond feminist struggles, must acknowledge that we have to stand up for peace and democracy, and that and if we are serious about that, we have to stand with the women in Rojava in their claim for rights and for self and local governance and for democratization of society. And so we have to, as a global also community, stand with and by the women of Rojava. I think in order to be able to spread the kind of feminist and democratic practices that are being put in place in Rojava, we have to be able to see each other. I look forward to having making a possibility for different feminist movements to meet and hear more from the women's struggle in northern Syria, to make sure that we make more visibility, so that people can actually see that there are very interesting models being invented, and that we have to be able to learn and be inspired. But for that, we have to be able to make more visibility about what is happening in your region, and to make sure that it reaches out across the world. And you have to be the major player in that. I look forward to that. For the celebrations of International Women's Day in Rojava, I wish you to celebrate all the victories that you have already achieved, all the changes and the democratization of your societies, and I wish you to gather strength together and to broaden our feminist struggles, so that you also reach out and that we can work together for a stronger feminist agenda in your region, but also in Europe and beyond.